I think I know as a Black man in America, I could no longer take pretty pictures anymore. I needed to have a voice in the matter. And I wanted to show that you can do the things that you've always wanted to do while still having a message and having a cause and having something behind it.
So what's your name, where are you from, and what do you do?
My name is Jared L. White. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Well, my 9 to 5 is digital sales planner at the BBC, but I'm also the man behind TIMK, which is a style brand that I started 5 years ago now. So I do all things style, design, all those things that have inspired me throughout the years creatively, whether it's fashion, styling, video design, taking pictures. It's my wheelhouse of all my artistic and creative thoughts and dreams.
So what is your contribution to Black business and the whole energy of working together?
My contribution is telling a story and sharing a message. The Not Your Enemy collection, which is my latest collaboration with one of my closest friends, Shannon Reynolds, and my business partner now, is the reaction to the unjust murders of Black people in America. And I think I know as a Black man in America, I could no longer take pretty pictures anymore. I needed to have a voice in the matter. And I wanted to show that you can do the things that you've always wanted to do while still having a message and having a cause and having something behind it. So I've always, like I said, I've always been in love with fashion and style and looking good and feeling good. So I was like, how can I also tell a story of the struggle that we're going in and the story that I've always wanted to tell in some way, shape, or form. And when I realized how to merge those two worlds, it's great. And I think I'm just contributing an opportunity for everyone to stand up and just have some space to speak.
Nice. So tell me about Not Your Enemy.
Yeah, Not Your Enemy. My best friend, one of my close friends, she asked me if I wanted to do a t-shirt line with her. And I said, sure, why not? And when we started doing that process, George Floyd was murdered, Breonna Taylor was murdered, Ahmaud Arbery had happened earlier in the year. And I felt that anger and rage raising up inside of me as it has happened plenty of other times in America. And I made a promise to myself that I was going to do something if and when this happened again. And when it happened again, it was just at that moment that I was working on this t-shirt line. And I was like, this is it. This is where you put this energy. This is how you start telling the story. And then from there, it took off. The original design, Not Your Enemy, the original quote was, Black men are not your enemy. And I felt as though it was important to remove that, to announce and declare that all marginalized groups are not your enemy, whether you're a Black man, Black woman, queer, trans, young, old, even yourself, because sometimes we make ourselves out to be our biggest enemy and worst critic. So I just wanted to have a statement shirt that is declaring that whomever is looking at you and when you looking at yourself, I'm not your enemy. And that's just how that started. In that collection now, we had 5 different designs. Not Your Enemy, Can I Live, Defend Black trans lives, as well as I Am Human. And they're all just statement pieces where we're making sure our voices are heard. You know, we are protesting, but we want to make sure these are year-round protests. We want to make sure that conversations are continuously going on. These things happen. Black people are murdered. People are victimized. People are marginalized. And it's just an Instagram quote or a freaking hashtag, and those conversations stop. I wanted to make sure that we are walking billboards, and this is a constant conversation. These are constant protests. People are constantly seeing these messages, and people are going to ask about it.
It's great. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to work with you and support you and just collaborate on this season of Shattered Hues, because we have a similar mission. Like, we have our own work that we do, but we put our time and effort into something to support the community in whatever way we can. And for me, it's with film and the moving image. So let me pass the baton to you, and you can ask me the same questions or similar questions.
Similar questions. So, who, what, when, and how?
All right, so what's your first question?
Who are you?
My name is Caroline. I founded Shattered Hues in 2018. It was a dream that I had to, after living in the Netherlands for a while, I thought I'd love to capture the story of other creatives, especially from the African diaspora and those who live, like I say, on the edge, you know, the outsiders. I call them the dreamers.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I just felt ready after being here over 8 years that I can really have these conversations. I have something to say and something to learn. And so all the people that I found either through poetry, like we met at Labyrinth, that was an awesome evening, great event, great place as well. Yeah, that was just organic. And when I'd meet somebody and I thought they had something very deep passion and like a real strong message, I would just invite them and interview them. And it didn't really matter if you're like a superstar or somebody who's just started your journey. For me, like we're all equal and we all have a message, a singular story that we can all relate to. So that's, yeah, just getting people in the studio and having a discussion about what it's like to be a Black creative living in the West and like the challenges.
What inspires you?
Yeah, being a Black creative living in the West. You know, it's quite a peculiar position because you have to prove yourself in so many ways, you know. And when I've worked in other environments where I'm not the only one, it's just like you're a professional and you're just treated as a professional. But I feel like in the West, there's a double layer of convincing people you can do what you say you can do. And that's sometimes you just get sick of the pressure and you just want to talk to somebody else about it who's going through the same thing, you know.
And that's what
and
we call.
benefit from lessons learned.
Yes, we all need to be benefiting from those gems. I've always found that very important to, you know, especially with this, what I've been working on, to be as open as possible and share my story. And I think I'm in such a vulnerable place of just communicating how I'm feeling and then realizing that other people are feeling the same way. So it's helpful because we all have to help each other, especially, you know, in our line of work. In any line of work, just being a Black person in general, you got to help one another in order to figure it out and share those stories. And sometimes we can be so greedy and keep not everything held to the chest, but I love when people share their you know, their faults and their mistakes. Like I said, not everything is a pretty picture anymore, and we have to start taking. Okay, let's see the B-roll. You know, let's see the pictures that you messed up on. Let's hear about the mistakes, because we all have those same mistakes. You know, I have the same conversation with people like, yeah, well, I did that wrong and I did that wrong, and you know, you never get it right and you never get it done.
Yeah, I also think that you can't succeed without failure. You know, it's just part of the journey. You know, you dust yourself off, you learn.
Yes.
I think the important thing is to learn lessons. And I also think that we need to check each other sometimes, because I think we're all trying to achieve our goals. And they say, what is it? A wise person learns from other people's mistakes, a smart one from their own mistakes. I don't know, there's a saying around that. And I think I just like to share so I can learn something.
Please like and subscribe. Shattered Hues Films.